All right, we're recording. So, welcome everybody to the Saskatoon Ukulele Players. This is our May Uketorial. We are coming to you live from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis. So, this particular Uketorial, I thought I would do movable patterns. So, you probably heard people doing funky, right? And those are very easy to learn. They're great concepts, uh, but they do tend to use, bar chords. They tend to use all of your fingers. They can be really, really hard on you. And I know we've got people who have some health issues, who are maybe getting older. Let's face it, we get creakier as we get older. So I wanted to spend a little time before our jam, or sorry, before our lesson, just talking about stretches and how to kind of get into that space where you're ready to tackle these kinds of hard chords. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen. So this package it's up on our website, excuse me, up on our website right now, saskatoonyukulele.com. And I should point out the disclaimer right away. If there's anything that's hurting when you play, if you're having any problems, if you even, talk to, say, an occupational nurse or a physio and they say, do this, not that, and I'm saying something different, always follow the advice of your health practitioner. Talk to your doctors, just see what works because what works for one person doesn't work for another person. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff here that I've been collecting just over my time as a musician, as well as listening to other workshops. I mean, that's been one of the amazing things about the pandemic. One of the few amazing things is being able to learn from so many other musicians. So, um, yeah. So warming up is just about keeping your fingers flexible, getting into the right headspace, getting set up so we don't hurt ourselves and that we can actually concentrate on what we're doing. So warming up the mind sounds a little bit it's a little bit strange, but there is a logic to this. Definitely if you're practicing, kind of having that practice space, having things set up. I've heard of people, I use the example of a cup of tea, and clearly I'm not the only one who has their pre-jam tea, getting I mean, if you need to light candles and do a special ritual, whatever has this mindset. And that's one of the things actually I kind of miss about meeting at a pub. Like, just as soon as I walk through those doors at Amigos, it's like, ah, yes, it's jam time, right? So, having that mind, having that idea that, okay, I'm going to focus, do what you need to do for that. Honestly, it is probably one of the better things that you can do for yourself, especially for practice. Now, the body warm ups. I had totally intended to have fancy diagrams of each workout here, but I can't draw. And again, it's pandemic, so I could not take pictures of people demonstrating these. So I will do my best now. And maybe in the future, we'll do an exercise video or something. Anyways, so the body, obviously, you want to be warmed up. You want to be limber, you want to be able to move, and you want to be comfortable too, like some of you know one of the problems I have with the Tuesday jams, because we tend to go for an hour and a half, is I get really, really stiff in the legs. And after a while I start getting all antsy, right? So being comfortable and warmed up so you avoid injuries is huge. So, obviously, getting yourself in a comfortable position, get yourself seated. You got to be sitting straight up. Um, I have a bad habit of curling up actually when I play, which is fine if you're just strumming. But obviously, if you're singing, you need you need your stomach, right? So make sure you're comfortable and you can breathe and you can move. And things like, neck. Let's do this together. Because my neck is a little cricky. So if we do kind of some neck rolls, so if you just kind of bow your head down, and I don't know if I move my right, is that your right as well? I hope so. Anyways, roll very slowly and carefully to the other side and down and around again. And let's go one more time to the other side. I like just sort of touching my ear to the shoulder and my ear to the shoulder again. And I'm just going to sit straight for a second while let's take this off of the chair for a moment here. So, yeah, getting your neck warmed up. If you want to twist your head and look to your right for a few moments, and then slowly, slowly, slowly turn the other way and look to your left and see all the dust in the corner of your house. Oh, sorry, was that just me? Oh, that actually does feel much better. So, what did I have next? I think I had shoulder rolls, right? So, shoulders, obviously, this is a part of playing, right? So, let me move my camera down a little bit. So, yeah, just shoulder shrugs, bring them up to your ears and down, up, down. I like doing the rolls, especially back. Going backwards feels so good. Forward is okay, but I find I need to move my back a little bit more. I like doing my neck in between, but it's up to you. I mean, you know where you get stiff, right? I like doing some of the openers and closers. I don't know if they're called closers, but I like to do some of these upper arm stretches. If I'm standing, actually, what I like, I don't know if I can show you all of me in here. You put your arm over, grab your elbow, and you kind of bend a little bit. So you end up feeling this nice stretch in there. It's a little bit better when you're standing, but sitting, oh, I am loving this. Oh my goodness, that felt good. Oh, this would be the point actually where I would end up doing I know people say start kind of from your top down, but I like to do my back at this point. So when you're sitting in a chair, I'm obviously on a sofa, but if you're on a chair, you can sit where the back is on your side. And so then you just keep your hips straight, keep your hips on the chair, but then you just turn. So again, you're twisting, you're getting your stretch in here. And it's easier when you've got something to grab onto. I find this way is a little bit harder for me because I have little to grab on. Oh, I think I heard a pop in a good way. In a good way. So, obviously, most of our playing, especially with chords, is going to be forearms, fingers, hands. So let's work on the forearms. And I have to give credit to, I believe it was Sarah Maisel who was talking about these next three warm-ups. So if you stretch your hand out, reach for the camera essentially, and then you can lift your hand up, lift your palm up, and then just carefully grab the tips. And just hold that for a few seconds. Remember too, some of these you have to build up over time. And then just loosen it up. I wouldn't recommend shaking. I know some musicians like to kind of shake it all out. I physically have problems doing that. Let's do the other arm. But I know for some people it's comfortable to loosen up like that. Just whatever works best for your body. Oh, and that's a good stretch on the other side. We're gonna need this other side, right? This is my left. So the next one, same thing, stretch out. And this time we're gonna bend our hands down. So just grab your other hand, bend it downward a little bit, Keep going for a couple of seconds more. Okay, and loosen up. Just going to quickly admit somebody. And then again, other hand. Put your arm out, grab, and just carefully pull down. Oh, that's feeling better already. Now, I know a recorder player actually who does something similar, but she likes to turn her arm a little bit and do it similarly, but the other way. For me, this is hard on my elbow. For some people and some instrumentation, honestly, like every instrument's different, right? If I'm playing recorder or saxophone, my hands are always like this, right? So those are great stretches for that. I don't know, I never noticed so much with ukulele needing something like that, but anyways, those are just a couple, just a few minor stretches that are definitely worth doing. But as I said, like there are more. There are people who specialize in this that will be able to give you even more detail, especially for your particular body. Like one thing that I have with my fingers, because of my autoimmune disease, they get cold so easily. And, I can be baking like a meatloaf and you touch my fingers and they're ice cold. So for me, this is one of the reasons I like my hot tea near me, even though, like I said, the rest of me is fine. I just like having that heat because cold is going to hurt over time and we don't want injuries. So how are we going to warm up our fingers? We're going to use our instruments. So grab your ukulele. And these are actually ones that I found many years ago for guitar, but they work great on ukulele. And I have come across, ukulele books that talk about these as well. So I have them written, these first two, I have them written in tab, but it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for me to demonstrate. So I'm going to bring you guys nice and close to me. And of course, let's bend this down. Oh, there's a lot of shadow from the window. All right, can everybody see, or is it? Okay, I just want to move it a tiny bit. So the first exercise, so just a reminder, your A string is your 1, and then it goes down E2, C is your 3rd string, and your 4th string is the high G. So just if you're wondering about my notation. So starting on the 4th string, you're going to put your finger on the 1st fret, and then 2nd fret, and I always leave my fingers down, right? So, and then you kind of move to the 3rd string and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just kind of shift to the next fret over. And then I'll go the same way. Ah, what am I doing? And then you shift again. And you're just going back and forth, different strings. And the point of this, partly you want to start getting more comfortable. Like, I mean, I started off slow partly because I was showing you, but you're getting warmed up. You're making sure your fingers are moving. But in time, as you're going through this, maybe you've made it all the way down here. Go fast. Another thing actually that I never really thought about doing before is put a rhythm to it. Let's try back down here. Just, this is warming up. So you're almost like how to say, it's almost like structured noodling, right? You're making sure with an exercise to get in all your fingers, to get in everything, but at the same time, whatever you want to do is fine. Maybe one string you can do nice and beautiful, and then let's go angry, and then let's go nice and quiet. Vary it up. It's just an exercise to get your fingers going. Now, the next one it's the same idea, except we're going to change frets, or sorry, change strings as we go along. So, fourth string, I've got it on the first fret, and then the third string, I got the second fret. That would be my second string, third fret. So you see, you're kind of moving diagonally. Slide it down, twist it up, slide it down. And I mean, these are not in stone. Again, you can vary it however you want to vary it. But suddenly, when you're going across, instead of going across this way, when you're going diagonally, kind of in a zigzag pattern, you're stretching in a different way, right? So that's another great warm up to do. And it's a great skill builder as well, right? To get your fingers going. And there is one more exercise that's a good one for practicing, but I am probably not the best person to demonstrate it. It's called Aldrine's Spider. Again, Craig and Sarah had talked about it. Even they said Google it, and you'll find the actual. I believe there's a video, but I did find a tab of it. But the tab doesn't quite do it justice, because it does this idea of now I'm not using proper technique here because I'm kind of low. What they call finger independence, right? Our fingers don't have muscles. Our hand has muscles. Our fingers don't have muscles. They have little tendons that pull as our hand moves. So, our pinky, like, it can be hard to move just the pinky on its own. I could do it more on my right hand, not so much on my left. You see how all the other fingers start moving. So when you're playing, being able to, play sort of being able to change the direction that your fingers are going and lifting them up at different times is something I'm working on as well. So I don't feel comfortable demonstrating it. Look it up. It's in the package. Look up Aldrine's Spider. And that's definitely a good workout. And I have the name listed here for you. So I've put in some of the variations you can do. Just try it out. It's a warm up. Nobody's listening, and even if you're at a jam and somebody's listening and they're like, "What the heck are you doing?" Just say, "I'm warming up. Go away." Right? Thank you very much. Talk to the hands. There's an old one. Let's get on to our movable patterns. So, what do I mean by movable pattern? So typically these are chords that use either 3 fingers or 4 fingers, right? So I already, used the example of the D7. There's that funky diminished. There's what have we already come across? In Three Little Birds, we've kind of come across this shape. Our B flat is another movable pattern. And it's movable just because you've got all your fingers down. it just makes it so much easier to slide. And that works great, because what if you have a song where, it uses some weird chord, like, actually, it just came up recently in something I've been learning. It was like a C#7, and I'm like, what the heck kind of chord is that? And I saw some neat shapes, and it was kind of like, that's kind of hard to throw in quickly. Well, if this is D7, a half step down from D7 is C flat 7. And suddenly it made it easier. I could suddenly go from my, like the song tells me to. It was an F sharp minor to a C. I actually have that sitting here. Yeah, F sharp minor, B flat, B minor, and then I could do the C#7 easily without having to figure out what the weirdness was. So movable chords are great from that perspective. Again, with Three Little Birds, you guys have all heard me do sort of that rhythm, and that's just because all the strings are covered, I can kind of pulse it. If I didn't have a string covered, right, you get that ringing sound because one of my strings isn't covered. But if you got a chord pattern where everything is covered, you have more control over it, is how it was kind of put to me by one workshopper. It's a control issue, which is hard to do with open chords, right? Our open C, this is our closed D. Everything's covered. It's a closed chord. So that's why we're doing this. Now, the specific chords that I chose for today are based on some of the chords that we already know, but it's also based on chords that we're going to be using in the 3 practice songs that I brought out. So the B flat chord shape, we've seen B flat before. I know it's a pain in the butt. I have added here 2 extra dots. And the reason I did that is because you can either play it as a bar chord, or you can play it with just sort of a half finger across. So to show you the difference on my uke, you could play it as, the bar and then your 2 fingers across, or you can play the half bar and the 2 fingers across. It doesn't matter, because any way you look at it, this fret, it's going to be covered anyway. So the only reason I find it easier sometimes to think of it as a full bar chord is if you're doing another bar chord right away. Sorry. If you're doing another bar chord right away, sometimes it's easier to think of it that way. But it's up to you. So if on the first fret, if we play B flat, how many steps do we have to go to get a D? So if this is B flat, our second fret is C. Our third fret would be C sharp or D flat. We have to go all the way down to fret 5. And we've got a D there. So if you're already playing somewhere up the neck, why not play that D instead of coming all the way back to the top? And you can hear, like, listen, this is the D, and this is the movable D higher up the neck. And so they sound similar, but slightly different, right? And the reason for that, we would call it an inversion. It's just the order in which the notes come, but it's still the same chord. And of course, we've got our other chord shape here, D7. We all know D7, right? And not the Hawaiian D7. I like the Hawaiian D7, but this is the standard D7. So if I needed an E7, where am I going? Well, D7 second fret, D sharp 7 is the third fret. And if I move to the fourth fret, I've got my E7. And it works exactly the same for B7. It's almost like the D7, right? This is our D. There's our B7. Isn't it funky how just one change in fingering can change the whole chord? It's the same thing. If I needed a C7 and I don't want to use the open chord because I can't mute it, well, I want to use D7, or sorry, a C7, closed C7, then I'm taking this shape, and where am I moving it? All I need to do is go up one, right? From B, the next frets on fret 3, that's my C7, and that's a closed C7. So I can pulse and mute, which I can't do on the closed C7. So I'm just gonna take this off here for a moment. So the open C7, right? If I try pulsing, it doesn't really do anything. If I go to the bar chord, there is something though that I forgot to mention, and I'm very, very sorry. When I'm playing one of these chords, my thumb is not right behind the bar. I know you think that's going to give you the most strength. Your thumb is going to hurt though. When you do these chords, this is again a hard one to demonstrate. My thumb is usually like this. Actually, it's a little bit more parallel, not completely, but it is a tiny bit more parallel to the neck, and it's actually further closer to the headstock. So in a proper, so again, you see how my thumb is up here and my bar is over here. Now you may have to adjust this. Everybody's different. You may need to adjust that. You may find it easier to be a little farther up. You may find it easier. Sometimes I know some days I find myself doing almost more of a guitar hold where my thumb starts creeping, not this far up, but starts kind of creeping up a little bit. But generally, from what I'm hearing from most ukulele pros, is that they like sort of the thumb. I guess this is almost like a fret closer to the headstock from where my bar is, and just turn slightly, and that keeps it a lot more comfortable. You're not exactly in a neutral hand position, but you are more neutral than I think you would be if, yeah, it's one of those you just have to learn. You have to try different things, see what you get comfortable with. This is how I've heard most players doing it. Just keep your thumb a little bit away from your bar. So hopefully that will help a little bit, because we are going to get into some music. Or actually, I think I have one more pattern to show. Yes, the B minor chord shape. We have seen this before. I know people don't like this because it's a weird chord, because you're literally reaching over, right? You've got your bar, and then you're adding that. I use my third finger, my ring finger, actually, to go across and just leave my middle finger. So let me just take this off again. So instead of trying to put my, I can't even do it. I use my ring finger. So bar with my index, ring finger down, ring finger across. Yeah, that's, yeah. Ring finger would be the easiest. You could maybe try your pinky, but ring finger seems perfect. And you got to be careful not to give anybody the middle finger when you're doing this chord. But that's maybe just me being a smart ass. All right. So that's the other one, right? And it's the same thing. You need an E. Then you're going from fret 2, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. So your E minor, you've got one way up here. Using that shape, right? Another shape you might be able to find in minor somewhere else. So these patterns, like, oh, I didn't bring the book with me. There is actually a book by Roy Sakuma, one of the ukulele gods in Hawaii. He had a book that's called literally The Treasury of Ukulele Chords. It's a little bit of a pain to get in Canada because it's a cheap book, but they really kill you on the shipping. I don't know why, even though it's a book, but I bought it. I have no regrets whatsoever because it will show you for every chord all the different versions of movable patterns and where they are for that particular chord. It is very, very handy. I can't stop recommending it. All right, so let's try some songs if we can. Now, because these are difficult patterns and because it's new, feel free to only do one chord. So, like, for example, let's do, if you want to just do C7s, and then you can use your regular F and G7. If you want, you can do your regular C and F, and then try the G7 all the way down at the 7th fret. Remember, you have dots on the side of your ukulele for fret 5 and 7. So you've got cheats to make it even more easy. I changed all of this into 7 chords. I know normally we've been doing it with just the regular major chords, except for the C7. But blues, you can change it all to 7. And it sounds great. And I'm going to pulse this because it's blues. I want that chunk. So let's try a little bit of this. We don't have to do the whole thing because I don't want to hurt anybody's hands too much. We'll get down to the chorus and see from there. All right. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Now when I get the blues, gonna get me a rocking chair. I guess it would help to get the right sound. And then I get the blues, gonna get me a rocking chair. And when the blues overtake me, gonna walk right away from here. Say, give me a kiss, now hold it a long, long time. Say, give me a kiss, now hold it a long, long time. Now love me, baby, till my head in the feel like wine. I guess getting the lyrics right would help. I said flip, flop, and fly. I don't care if I die. Flip, flop, and fly. I don't care if I die. Don't ever leave me, don't ever say goodbye. So how did that go? Did anybody get at least one chord in there? I took it maybe a little bit faster than I should have, but that gives you an idea of what you can do. And like, for example, in those last lines, you can do a little bit of slide, right? Don't ever... So I mean, there's ways that you can throw in those little tweaks, little flourishes that will make the song sound good. So I will leave that one with you. And notice too how I managed to find chords that were all so our F7 and our G7, same pattern, we're just sliding it a little bit. And our C7, again, it's just a minor tweak. And it's going to be similar here, where we're going to use that B flat chord shape for our C. And then we're going to go down to the fret 5, and we've already got our ring finger in the same place. And then for the F, we leave our bar on the 5th. We just plant that pinky down over here. So this one actually, I think this might be my new version from now on because I can do that reggae strum. So again, we'll just do, let's just do a couple verses so as not to hurt anybody. But you can understand now why I suggested that sometimes with that B flat chord shape, you want to turn it into a bar instead of that half, right? So this is one where I definitely would recommend it. And I'm going to skip the whistling and the oohing if nobody minds. And I'll try not to launch into Three Little Birds because, of course, that's reggae as well, right? So you're going to use a similar strum. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note, but don't worry. Be happy. In every life we spend trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Let's try the next verse. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. The landlord say your rent is late. He may have to litigate, but don't worry. Be happy. How did you do with that one? I actually found this one easier. It's funny, when I was getting the songs ready, I found Flip Flop Fly a bit easier, but today I'm finding this one a little easier. So again, I will leave that one with you. Now, Joy to the World. This is not in our songbook. It will be from now on. But notice the chords they give you for this walk up, right? Jeremiah was a bullfrog, do, do, do. Look at the chords they give you. I don't want to play that. Sorry. I do not want to play that. So what do? We're going to take our B flat chord shape. We're going to put it on C. Yeah, if I can get that right. We're just literally walking up because it goes C, C sharp, D. So you're starting at the 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. And there's your walk up. Forget doing this funky something like that. You can do it. It's not fast, right? This is. So that was actually one of the many reasons why I threw that in there. And we'll just do, you know what? Let's try the whole thing if I can. Now, timing is going to be more an issue with this song, right? All the other chords, yeah, you've got the B flat. But the other chords are simple. So you'll have a chance for your hands to relax a little bit after the first 2 songs I gave you. But getting timing right? Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend. So trying to squeeze in, sometimes when you do these neat flourishes, make sure you keep your rhythm steady, because if you skip a beat, the audience will notice, or your neighbors in the jam will notice. If you're at home, it doesn't matter. But, you want to keep that steady rhythm. And I'm really thinking we need to do a rhythm Uketorial sometime. so that we can internalize and capture that rhythm in our souls, because that's a huge part of music, right? So let's try this. A one, a two, a one, two, three. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. I never understood a single word he said, but I helped him drink his wine. And he always. Sorry, I'm off. I think it's because I can't hear my ukulele. All right, let's try it. Singing joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. If I were the king of the world, I'd tell you what to do. I'd throw away the cars and the bars and the wars and make sweet love to you. Okay, maybe it's just me. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. There's the walk up again. You know I love the ladies and have my fun. A high life flyer and a rainbow rider and a straight shooting sun gun. Yes, a straight shooting son of a gun. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. All right, let's do some chorus. Let's get our fingers loose. 3, 4. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. Singing joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea. Joy to you and me. Joy to you and me. Last time. Joy to you and me. I love that song. I am so glad that I had an excuse to pull it out. So, and I mean, of the songs that we have in our book, you know, uh Three Little Birds, of course, you have, most people will use the open chords. There's an example for using the bar chords. There is a walk up in Credence. What's the Credence song? Looking Out My Back Door. You can add these to any other songs as well. Like, for example, if it's something that's repetitive, you can do it the first time with open chords, and then you can shift to, some kind of a pattern down here and play down the fret, so you get that slightly different sound, right? Um, yeah, there's just so many things you can do with these, and there are so many more of these chords. Hopefully one day we'll get a chance to try some more, just pull out some more patterns and see what we like and add more flourishes to our songs. So we got 10 minutes left, which is perfect. We have worked hard, right? I have worked hard. I hope the rest of you have worked hard. We're nice and warmed up, but now it's time to, relax, put our instruments down, let our fingers, calm down a little bit. But you don't want to get stiff, right? Like, you don't want to just kind of get up and do something else. And this is why I wanted to talk just very quickly about like a mindset in music, as in life. When you're learning things, there's often this tendency to say, oh, well, I can't get it. And, you just don't want to try anymore. And then you just kind of sit there. Everybody's doing, these cool things, and you're just too afraid to continue because you had a rough time. Honestly, if you don't like learning, I don't know what to say, because it's such a weird concept to me. People who don't want to learn anything new, but like, it takes time, and you have to love the process of learning to be able to take that time to learn bar chords, to learn your scales, to learn, a new genre of music or whatever. It takes time. It's not going to happen, unlike what lifehacker.com has to say. You can't do it in 2 weeks unless you're some mega spooky freak from the Matrix or a robot. It takes time to learn. Be patient with yourself, everybody. I know sometimes there's I hope nobody today said, "Oh my God, I just suck at this." Well, yeah, maybe today it didn't go so well. But if you keep saying, "I suck, I suck, I suck," then how often are you going to want to touch your instrument, right? It's what we call cognitive dissonance. You don't suck, you're learning. And love your learning, love what you're doing. This is fun stuff. Yeah, it's hard, it's challenging, but that's what makes it worth doing. That's what makes it fun. So I hope nobody was too hard on themselves today. I'm always available for questions. So I mean, if there's something you didn't understand, I'll answer a few questions off camera at later. So yeah, just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy this. And if you need to, when you're done practice, when you're done a session, just take a moment to say, wow, I am better today than I was yesterday. Take that moment to say, yes, I am doing my best. I am enjoying this. Say thank you. Show your gratitude. I mean, it is pretty awesome that we live in such cushy lives, if you will. We are so privileged to be able to have, this great little instrument, to be in a safe environment. I hope this group is considered a safe environment to play and to learn. So just be thankful, be kind to yourself. So this cool down, I had to share this with everybody. And you can do this really if you wanted to do it before practicing or before a jam. You can do it. I put it after because I wanted to cool us down a little bit. A couple months ago, I meant to look up his name again. I believe it was Haji Bassan, had done a free workshop on sort of a little bit more of a spiritual approach. And I loved the idea of using your ukulele for meditation. Now, Ukulele Magazine has advertised Daniel Ward's musical meditation. And I'm just going to get off for a second, which is a really neat one. It's just a finger picking. Sorry, he went. So he had very specific chords that sounded beautiful, but and I totally 100% will be buying his book soon. But you don't even need to use specific chords. What Haji did was literally just take 4 chords. And for today, don't worry about using the bar chords today. You can in the future if you want to warm up that way, but we're just going to use a C, G, C, and F. And we're just going to repeat that. But first of all, we're going to go much, much slower. And we're going to use this as a little bit more of a meditation. Okay. So, we're going to go much slower. Now, I'm going to use a down, up, because it's a nice kind of repetitive, gets you in that groove. You can use finger picking if you like, as long as you kind of keep it in 4. That's not 4. It's a great way to cool your right hand down, right? But I'm just gonna go up and down. And we're gonna start, and you can do this with shallow breaths to start out with. If those of you who enjoy singing, you want to start getting into some of the deeper breaths, filling your full lung capacity. Believe it or not, your lungs go fairly down in your body. So, you can use the deep breaths right away. We're going to start with 4 bars of C, just breathing in. When we switch to our G, we're going to exhale and spend that 4 beats exhaling. And then when we're back to C, 4 beats of inhale. And then our F, we're going to go to the exhale. Okay. We're going to take this nice and slowly. Okay. So let's try this together. And feel free to close your eyes. If you want to, you can maybe look out the window and just listen to my voice. I'll try to be as calm and soothing as possible. Just kind of let your mind not so much wander, but just calm down. Focus on your breathing. Listen to the sound of the instrument. And let's start. Everybody, breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. G. Exhale. 3, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 4. Let's go to the beginning. Inhale. Exhale. How do your fingers feel on the strings? Inhale. Listen to the music. Exhale. Lovely F chord. Try again. Inhale. Try a different pattern. Exhale. Are you still strumming or did you move to finger picking? Inhale. And exhale. So how are you feeling? Was that nice and calming? If you're still kind of in the zone, just, start kind of wiggling your toes. You can open your eyes. How are you feeling? Is it nice and relaxed? So that is a lot of information I've just given you. I hope there's some stuff you'll be able to use. And just thank you, everybody, for joining me today. And I look forward to our next Uketorial next month. All right, so I'm just going to close the recording, if I can remember how.